Okay, so as per TSN, the Tampa Bay Lightning have traded Ryan McDonagh to the Nashville Predators in exchange for fellow Blue Liner Philippe Myers and for Grant Mismash, as also announced by the Lightning today. And this came right after reports on June 30th from insider Elliot Friedman that the Tampa Bay Lightning were working with Ryan McDonagh to find a good trade fit for him. And, there's a whole quote here saying about, according to multiple sources, the Lightning are working with Ryan McDonagh to see if there's another team he'd be considering a trade to, and it's a very, very hard thing for Tampa to think about because McDonagh's still a tremendous player. He's loved in the locker room, and the guys don't want him to go. But unfortunately, it's a scenario that Tampa would have to consider, and of course, it just happened. But a brief overview of Ryan McDonagh. He just finished his fourth full season with the Tampa Bay Lightning after being traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning from the New York Rangers in 2018. And he now ends his tenure with 20 goals, 99 points in 267 games, along with 23 points in the playoffs, and he lifted the Stanley Cup twice in Tampa Bay. So, considering all of that information I just said, we can pretty much postulate that McDonagh is a valuable veteran defenseman who can still play over 20 minutes a night in all situations, and so he should be a huge addition to the Predators' blue line considering how good it already is with people like Roman Josi and Matthias Ekholm and a rising star in Dante Fabro. And although they lost guys along the way like Ryan Ellis and Shea Weber and PK Subban in recent times, he's going to make the Predators' defense a very veritable force, in my opinion, and potentially could be a monster in the Western Conference and could maybe make a run like they did in 2017. And the good part about this trade is that Ryan McDonagh wanted to go there, as he basically waived his no-trade clause to be dealt to Nashville, and he could conceivably end his career in the Music City too, with 4 seasons remaining on a cap hit of $6.75 million in average annual value, and he's 33. He's going to turn 34 next June, so think about it. He might as well end his career in Nashville. The Tampa Bay Lightning got Mismash in the deal, who I'm just going to briefly speak about. He's a second-round pick by the Predators in 2017, and the 23-year-old had 6 goals and 12 points in his first season with the Admirals, which is the AHL affiliate, last season. But I'm not going to be mostly focusing on him because this is mostly about Ryan McDonagh. So going back to McDonagh, what happens to Tampa now that he's gone? And considering what happened just 2 days prior with Nick Paul signing a 7-year extension on July 1st, the Lightning needed to clear more cap space to potentially re-sign other major pieces, and probably the most important piece that they're looking to re-sign is Ondrej Palat, because it was trade to tough a locker room favorite in McDonagh, but it had to be done to keep players on this roster, and one of those guys or players I'm talking about is 100% Ondrej Palat. So before the McDonagh deal, the Lightning were facing the prospect of losing Palat in free agency, and now with a cap hit savings of $6.75 million, they can likely re-sign Palat to maybe a hometown discount, something cheap where Palat would be willing to stay. And as for the defenseman they got in the deal, Myers could just be bought out. According to Friedman, they would save $617,000 in cap space next season, but owe $633K in the following season, which would be the 2023-24 season. And obviously, McDonagh, being traded to Nashville is going to be a huge, huge loss on the blue line for Tampa next year. But the move could potentially open up an opportunity for Cal Foote to take on a bigger role. He's 23 years old. He's basically starting his career strong right now, and he played 56 games with the Lightning this season. He recorded 2 goals, 9 assists. He recorded 2 goals, 9 points, but he only averaged 13 minutes and 8 seconds in ice time. And unless they sign someone huge in free agency or a serviceable defenseman, look for that number to rise substantially in terms of playing time. And another guy you could potentially see on the blue line who might get the same amount of numbers is Jan Rutta, because if he is retained, the Lightning might just use him to fill in that 6th hole on D. And all in all, General Manager Julien Brisebois and his staff completed another feat of cap gymnastics, as I like to call it, as basically he found a way to free up space to potentially keep the core together for another Stanley Cup run. And Palat, who was a 7th-round pick by the Lightning in 2011, has spent his entire career with the franchise and has accumulated 143 goals and 423 points in 628 games, along with 48 goals and 94 points in the playoffs, as he has been instrumental in their 2 cup runs and their 2 Stanley Cup wins, of course. So it's really no surprise that Brisebois would bend over backwards to have a chance to keep him in Tampa for a little bit longer. And this McDonagh trade essentially gives him the opportunity to do that. So Tampa fans, Nashville fans, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this trade. But besides that, thank you guys for tuning in and have a wonderful day.